Hey guys, welcome back to Just Carve Rob. So what we're going to do is we're going to try making a little gnome guy. We don't have no gnomes on the shelf, so I guess we'll try making a little gnome guy. Let's zoom you in here. If I can figure out how the zoom works. There we go. Alright, I just got some rough dimensions down on this guy. He is overall about 5 3/4 inches long. His hat's going to be 2 inches long. His face is going to be 7/8 of an inch long. His body will be 1 3/8 long. His legs will be 1 1/8 inch long, and his feet will be about 1/2 inch long. We drew some rough lines on here. We're going to take this to the bandsaw and shape this a little bit on the bandsaw, and then we'll be right back for the carving part. So that's where we're starting out today, guys. With a little gnome, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how he turns out, alright? Alright. Alright, Spike? Alright. Well, alrighty then. You can see that we got that hat shaped into a point. Now we're drawing our lines on for the hat. We're doing about 1/4 of an inch drop from the front to the back. So now we're most of this video is going to be whittling with a knife. I don't know why, I just feel like it. So there will be a little power carving, but not a whole lot of it. So right now all we are doing is setting in our angle for our hat and taking a chip cut out of there, a little V-notch to the top side. We're not cutting anything off the bottom side. Now we'll mark the other side in, same thing. Nip the 2 corners and then cut the straight line between the 2. And we'll go back and take that hat down some more. That hat's going to come down a lot, guys. A lot. To get it down to the size we want it. It was just nice getting rid of that bulk wood with the bandsaw. Probably saved me 30 million years of chopping with this knife to get that hat whittled down to that little pointy thing going there. And keep putting your center lines in. You never know when you're going to need them. And just because you carve it off don't mean you can't draw it back on. Will this weather ever warm up a little bit? I don't need it 90 degrees, but I like to have it at least 50. Get this, see we're undercutting the hat. And I'm drawing on the ears, because I kind of want his ears to, his hat to go under his ears. So we're putting ears on this little fella. We're going from behind the center line with the ears. So we got our center line on there, and now we'll draw in the ears, and we're going to make them a little bit bigger than we want them. We just want to save that real estate there for his ears. So make them a little bigger. Make them a little longer, a little wider than you want, because you can always bring them down. And you'll see by the time we get to this, you're going to be like, man, that guy's going to have some really big ears, because they are sticking way out there. Because we are going to take off a lot of wood. This is just the beginning. It's going to be a long ride. It's probably going to be at least 2 parts, possibly 3, carving this guy. I've got about 2.5 hours in on carving this guy. The first ones always take the longest. I've never carved a gnome before, so, you know, the first time you do carve it, it's going to take the longest. And it's always nice to keep one sitting around for like a memory. stick to kick you when you get ready to go carve the next one. You're like, if you get rid of your very first one, when you go to carve your next one, you're going to be like, how did I make that cut? Or at least that's the way it is for me. So I always like trying to keep the first one of every one, but it don't always happen that way. It don't always work out. So then the next time I try carving one, it would have been really nice to have a example there, to look at and like, oh, okay, that's how I made that cut. And then you can always see what you did and improve upon it. Memories fade when he's been gone for 3 or 4 weeks or a couple of months, and decide you're going to carve another one. It's always nice to have the original one there to say, okay, maybe I can do this better, or maybe I can do that better. But it all comes down to practice, practice, practice. Since you make one, you make two. Make two, you make four. Get that practice in there, guys. Every time I carve something, it's like practice. But I really don't carve doubles of too much that I've already carved, as far as that goes. Normally I have the original one or the second or third one that I made sitting around here someplace. It's always good to have them ones. And as you progress, you can either sell the old ones or keep them hanging around. But I always like to keep one of, the first couple that you make. And then a year, 6 months or a year later, you can go back and look at it and be like, wow, I think I can do better. And then you carve that one. So that's just my opinion. That's the way it works for me anyway. As you can see, we're going to go ahead and round this body over. He's a little pointy in the hand when you're trying to carve him. So we did that. Now we're back with the 2.5 inch OCC knife. This has really become my go-to knife. I've got an 1 3/8. That's a great knife. It's an OCC knife. And but often enough, that one is in my traveling box because I like it. So this is the only knife I got on the bench, really, is this 2.5 inch. So instead of going out to the truck and getting my 1 3/8, I end up choking up on this 2.5 inch, which probably isn't the safest thing in the world, because that blade is razor blade sharp, man, or even sharper. Because I don't think this has as steep of an angle on the blade as a razor blade does. And I believe a razor blade is only sharpened on one side. As far as, I'm not talking about the old strop razors that the barber shops had. I'm talking your Gillette razor. I think it's got like a chisel grind. It's only ground on one side. Yep, we're just going to work this guy all around. And get him wore down. I'm cutting the shoulder in there. Working that guy there. The other day I went out to get in my truck and I had a flat tire. Yep, tires are getting a little thin on them. So I got the spare out from underneath the truck, which I had to use a cutting torch because it was so rusted in up underneath there. There's a brand new tire on it, though. So I went to take the tire off, and would you believe the lug nut broke in half? Yep, it didn't snap the wheel stud off. The lug nut broke in half. I can't believe it. In all the cars I've worked on, I have never had a lug nut break in half. I've had wheel studs break, but I've never had a lug nut break. So I had to get the torch and cut the lug nut off, because there was no way you're getting it out of there. So I get the wheel off. I change the tire. I said, okay, I'm going to Walmart. I'm going to get a whole new set of tires put on it. So I take it there and schedule the appointment and all that stuff. I get there and the girl was asking me questions. And she goes, do you have any broken wheel studs? And I told her, yeah, there's one in the front and one in the back. So this truck has 6 lug nuts on it, all right? So I have a tire in the front that I had a lug break off, and I have the lug nut that broke off in the back. And they're like, well, if you're missing a wheel stud, we can't put tires on your truck. So, needless to say, I'm still running around with a spare on my truck because Walmart won't put tires on your car if you got a missing wheel stud. Now, I can understand if you're missing 2 off one wheel, but these 6 lug rims, you know, I had trucks that only had 5 lugs on them, you know. They didn't make 6 lug wheels. 6 lug wheels, I think, were for 3/4 tons. Nowadays, 6 lug wheels are for 8 lug wheels are for 3/4 tons, and 6 lug wheels are for half tons. Okay. All I can say is they must be some really crappy lug nuts on that truck. So, enough of my ranting. You guys probably didn't want to hear it anyway, but I always share all the good stuff with my friends, right? So now you can see we're taking out the wood and we're cutting in where the eyes are going to be alongside the nose. Just chopping that out there, and then we'll do the other side. Now, when you make these cuts, I always put the tip of my knife deep down in there towards the nose, and then let it angle up as it's going out. And I always make when I make these the cuts alongside the nose, I always keep the knife kicked off to the outside of the face a couple of degrees, because I don't want to undercut the nose. And when you're trying to push that knife straight down, sometimes you'll rock it with your thumb, and you'll end up undercutting your nose. So that's why I always try holding my knife on 2 or 3 degree angle away from the nose, towards the outside of the face. So now we're shaping the nose a little bit, taking off, getting rid of some of that flat. That's going to also help us figure out how deep we need to carve the nose down, from the tip of the nose down, to make the nose stand off from the face. And that's what we're doing right there. And then that will give me an idea of, see how I'm pushing that knife blade down there? Trying to keep it at a couple degrees angled away from the nose. You can always come back and square the nose up, but the sides of your nose aren't straight, so angling it away is not going to hurt it. Now we're cutting up and in under the nose. Now at that mark right there is where you can cut your start cutting your cheeks in, right? There we go. I'm starting to cut the cheeks in, because normally your cheekbones are, the high point will be right at the nose. Right at the end of your nose is your cheekbone's high point. And then they swoop in from under there. But you won't be able to see the cheekbone swoop in on this guy, because he's going to have a big old manly gnome beard going there. Now I'm cutting the forehead up and in under the hat a little bit. And that hat is going to come down a long ways. I can tell you that, guys. It's going to come down a long ways. Right now, I'm cutting in some little eyebrows there. Trimming that hat back. We're going to put a swoop cut. A swoop. Not a whoosh, but a swoop. So, we're going to put a swoop cut in at the base, down by the head, to make the hat look like it's popped out. Like somebody took a squashed the hat on his head, and the rim of it is kind of poking out. So we'll be doing that whoosh cut or swoop cut, not the whoosh cut. The whoosh cut is when we put the beard hairs in. We'll be doing the whoosh cut. So we're doing a little scoop cut there from the nose back up to the eye sockets. We want to make the top of the head skinnier than the down by the cheeks. We're going to give them like a pointy head almost, you would say. So it looks like the temples of the head will be way in. And then as it comes down and flows into that beard's going to turn into a massive, massive thing. When comparing the beard to the body. Overall, I really thought that this guy was going to be a giant piece of crap. Because the eye, whenever you're doing eyes on a little thing like this, they are such a pain in the rear end to do little tiny eyes. And I should have just went with the cartoon eyes, but I went with the more realistic eyes on them, which have a lot more components. You know, the bags and the eyelids and all that good monkey business. You don't have to do that, guys. A lot of people will dig out where the eyeballs are going to be. They flatten out that area and then just paint the eyes in. On these little guys, they look just as good as if you carved them in, because they're just little tiny eyeballs. Yeah, that's right. They're a shop inspector. They're just eyeball shop inspector. Don't get upset. It's just a little shop inspector. It's just a little gnome. He's wood. Okay, go back to sleep. So here we're cutting the feet in. Take a chunk out of each corner. That's the wrong way to do that, guys. You could hurt yourself. Why are you doing that, Just Carve Rob? Are you crazy? Okay, so there we're doing kind of a downward paring cut. But I'll tell you right there, that is dangerous putting all that pressure on that block of wood. I should have flipped them upside down or switched hands or something. See that? Nah, I don't like that. I don't like it at all. Shouldn't even be showing it to you. The paring cut's okay. I think we're going to call this a video, guys. So share, subscribe, and like, and leave a comment like the little red lettering at the bottom of the screen says. See it? It's right there. It's got a thumbs up. That means leave a like. And if you don't like the video, hit the thumbs down button, but, hit it twice. Yeah. Hit the thumbs down button twice if you don't like the video. And we will catch you guys on the next one. Be awesome. Carve something awesome. Carve every day if you can, guys. And we will catch you on the next one. Remember to check the links in the descriptions below. There will be a link for Kutzall. There will be a link for Buy Me a Coffee. And for you guys that have bought me a coffee this week, I really appreciate you, as I do everybody that's in the Just Carve Rob channel. And you guys have a good one, and we will catch you on the next one. All right? All right. Bye-bye.